Hello, everybody. I'm Jeff Shepard. Nice to meet you. Like they said, I'm partially responsible for that game. Um, I have been working with Imangi Studios, which is the company that made Temple Run, for a little over 2 years now, which was with the beginning of the Temple Run success. And yeah, I've been playing games pretty much my whole life. I think I started playing games when I first moved to North Carolina, which was about 16 years ago. And my brother, Keith Shepard, who I will talk about a little bit more in detail in a little bit, my brother Keith Shepard would set up games on our computers, and I would bring all of my friends over to the house, and we would play the games, and he would charge us admission to play the games. Yeah, I was the little brother. I got taken advantage of a lot. But yeah, so that's a little bit of the background that I have with games, and I've been playing games ever since, and I love games. And you know, a lot of the words that I've heard used up here in the previous speeches have been about passion, and I would definitely say that I'm very passionate about video games. So I will tell you a little bit of background about Imangi Studios itself. It was founded in 2008. And it was actually founded around the time of the launch of the iTunes App Store. So my brother and his wife were living in Washington, D.C., in a little apartment, but they're in downtown D.C. They were both working in technology jobs. Both of them loved video games, but they weren't working in video games at all. They decided that they wanted to make a video game, and they wanted their goal, and what they saw was that they wanted to have a video game out on the App Store when it first launched. They realized how big of a opportunity the iTunes Store was going to be, and they didn't quite know how successful it would be. That would come later. But they started and they launched their first game. It's called Imangi. It's a simple word game. It was not the most popular game, but it was fun. I had fun doing it. I remember the first time that I played that game, it was, I think, a couple weeks before the launch of the App Store, and I got addicted. And this is the first video game that I played on a phone, and it was awesome. And I had a lot of fun playing it. And it was really interesting that I was actually able to give my feedback to my brother and his wife on the game itself, and I could give them feedback on different ideas that I had about the game and about how the game worked. And they actually listened to me, and that was pretty cool. You know, being the young brother, you never get listened to very often, but I did, so that was awesome. From there, we launched. I think we've launched 10 titles total so far. We made Imangi, then we went to Imangi Word Squares. Then we made a game called Little Red Sled, which was supposed to be a Christmas game. And this is sort of where we learned a little bit about the production cycle, where we were trying to get a game out by Christmas, and it was a Christmas-themed game, and we didn't hit our deadline, and we actually missed it by a couple months, and I think we ended up launching it in February. Well, February is not a really great time to launch a Christmas game. So it was nonetheless not very successful. It wasn't until probably 2 years later that we launched a game called Harbor Master. Harbor Master was our first little taste of success. It started out as a 99-cent game, and there are two different versions. You could play it on the iPad or iPhone. This is before they could make it so you could play it on either. It didn't matter. You had to have two different versions of the game for each platform. But basically, Harbor Master, you control a harbor. You are the harbor master, and you have boats that are coming in, and you have to help unload their cargo. It's a very simple game. It's a very frustrating game, but it's a very fun game. We found from there that even with a small 99-cent price tag, with a little bit of an audience, you can actually make a profit from this. And meanwhile, this is while my brother and his wife are still working their normal jobs. So they're actually making a little bit of a profit off of this game. Now, my brother sees this and says, okay, I want to do this full time. He's sick of his job, wants to do it full time, so he does. He stops working there. His wife still was working at her job at the time. But so yeah, so he started this company, and he started working on games full time and worked on adding content to Harbor Master and adding new stuff to it. So from Harbor Master came a game called Max Adventure, which nobody knows, or not many people know. It was also a 99-cent game for the iPhone, and it was a dual-stick shooter game. And it was the most complex game we had ever done. It was a 3D game, and it was very, very difficult to control. It was honestly my favorite game that we've made. But I think that's one of the biggest things that we learned was it was targeted to me, and I'm a very, I'm not a very casual gamer, which is what the big audience of the iPhone and Android markets are now. I loved shooter games. I play Halo, I play all those games, but there's only so many of me, and there's a lot more other people out there. So catering to me is not necessarily the best thing that you can do. So we learned that we spent probably 6 months developing that game, and we lost all of that time and all of the resources that we invested into that game. It was a flop, and no one wants a flop. But what we did like about the game was the idea of having this little character running around, and it was like kind of top down, so you could see the back of this character, and he was just running around, and you were running away from aliens, and you were trying to also kill the aliens while you're running away from them. So we thought it was a cool concept, but we thought we did it wrong. So we had the idea of, well, why doesn't this kid just run by himself? And so we made a prototype. It took about a week. And we made this kid just running. That's all he was doing. He was running along a path, and you could swipe left to turn left, and you could swipe right to turn right. And we thought it was pretty fun. We didn't know why this kid was running. He wasn't running from aliens. He was just running. So we decided, well, let's make him run from something. So we came up with monkeys. Don't ask me how we got to monkeys, I don't know. But we came up with monkeys. So then we thought, okay, well, there's monkeys. This kid's, he's kind of cute. He was actually wearing like a strainer on his head. It was really weird. But yeah, so we decided that the kid wasn't the appropriate thing. So we decided to add just a general explorer type person, and he was going to be running. And so we changed the graphics to also put him running in a temple. He was running along a walkway. And all you had to do still was you were running away from monkeys, and you had to turn left, turn right, and you could now jump, and you could slide. And there are now obstacles in your way. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. We launched Temple Run after, I believe it was 3 or 4 months of development time. And we launched it, and it was a 99-cent app. It didn't do that well. We were like, okay, well, why isn't this doing very well? It's a fun game. We like it. We thought we had a pretty decent market that we could advertise to through our former game, Harbor Master. And so we were wondering why it wasn't working. Well, this was about the time that the freemium method was coming out, where you have a free game, and then there's ads, and there's in-app purchases. So sort of a new uncharted area of the App Store. But we figured our game wasn't actually a premium game. It wasn't a game that people were interested in spending 99 cents on just to play. So we made it free. We made it free in the beginning of December. And by, I think it's December 28th, we hit #1 on the iTunes App Store for free games. We hit #1, and we stayed there for almost a year. It was a pretty good success. It was a lot of fun. And we had a lot of fun hearing all the feedback from everybody about our game and about features that we wanted to have included in the next game. So in between that, our next game, we decided, hey, let's make another Temple Run. People like it. We only had 3 people working on our team that made the original Temple Run. We needed more. So we started hiring more people. We got some contract employees that we worked with for art and for sound and some of the programming code as well. And we also started hiring our own programmers and our own artists. And my brother and his wife had actually gotten kind of fed up with living in DC. They wanted to kind of start some roots, and so they moved to Raleigh. They moved the whole company to Raleigh, and the wife has now quit her job, and they started Imangi Studios. We have an office in North Hills Mall area. It's pretty cool. So from there, we made Temple Run 2. We've worked with Disney on Temple Run Brave and Temple Run Oz, and those have also done very well for us. And I think right now we're at over 600 million downloads worldwide of the Temple Run franchise, and we're really excited about it. And we're very humble about what we've done. But we've been working on Temple Run for almost 3 years. It's been a long time, and it's been all Temple Run. So now we're working on new games. It's pretty exciting. And one of the things that I really wanted to talk to you guys about is kind of the family aspect of, yes, my brother started Temple Run and started the Imangi Studios with his wife, and then they hired me on, and then they hired legal counsel and it was actually a guy that my brother went to high school with. And we sort of started building a little bit of a family. And what I liked about it was we've started to treat everyone in our company as a member of the Imangi family. You know, I don't program. I can't program. I do a lot of our business business side of things. But I still get to play games, and I still get to help make the game and help design the games. And it's a lot of fun. And it's very rewarding for someone like me, who's been a game enthusiast for so long, actually be able to have my input put into a game. And one of the things that I really like about it is it's not just me. You know, it's everybody from our entry-level people all the way up to the very top. Everybody has input into the game design, and it's very, very cool seeing that sort of aspect happen. About 2 years ago, my brother and his wife had their daughter. Her name's Catherine. She's adorable. I'm now an uncle. That's pretty cool. But one of the things that we noticed is, or one of the things that they noticed, is that kids take a lot of effort. And it takes a lot of time away from being able to do what you want. But we still wanted to be able to continue working with Imangi, and we're making new games and having fun. And we wanted all of our employees to have that same sort of freedom. So our company as a whole is very accepting of what's happening and what our employees need to be able to do. We have our standard business hours are from 9:30 till 4:30, and that sounds like you're thinking to yourself, that's not 8 hours. That's not the typical work day. Well, we don't. We work from 9:30 to 4:30, but we also work after that, and it's kind of just based around, if you have to go get your kids from school, you can leave and you can go do that. If you've got things that you need to do, you can do that. It's all about getting the job done. And we'll know if you're not getting the job done, obviously. But it's all about being able to support your family and about being able to support the Imangi family, which is really what we strive to do.